Hello my lovelies, welcome to your Psychic Sand Oracle for the month of March for all of the fire signs. So we have Aries, Leo and Sagittarius. I'm going to be doing a little sand oracle for you. I have a mini Zen garden, which is a wooden box with some sand in it, and I'll be doing some psychic doodling. So just allowing my hand to be guided and see what shows up in the sand. Then I shall add to it some pebbles from the beach and some shells from the beach. And I've found that pebble oracles are equally as powerful as using crystals. And then to round it off, we have a tray full of little objects which are hidden by a cloth, and then we shall see which ones want to show up for you and what messages want to come through. Now I've tuned in and had a meditation and asked for some information for you guys for the month of March. And what I was shown and heard was, it's like you've been trying to start a fire, but the wood is damp, and all you're getting is smoke. Just smoke, which can be choking, which can be thick, which can just obscure the view. So I said, well, why is the wood damp? So it's coming out of Pisces energy and into Aries, which is the first sign of the zodiac. It's the new year, astrologically speaking. So this year, on the 19th of March, is when the sun moves out of Pisces and into Aries. And also I was told that the previous full moon was in Leo, and the next new moon will be in Virgo on the 9th of March, and that the full moon in Leo in February, they showed me a magnifying glass, and so how you have attempted to look at things very closely, look at things in detail, and that full moon was a trigger, was a starting point. And we know that when you hold a magnifying glass close to paper and or dried leaves and or dried wood, it eventually, if you let the sun shine through it, can start a fire. First of all, you get the smoke, and then as the energy concentrates, the sun energy through the glass of the magnifying glass, it will eventually catch fire. So this is telling me that in the last 3 or 4 weeks, where things have been a bit, oh, it's an interesting word, occluded, meaning hidden. The occult actually means hidden, the word. And so for you, you might have had the magnifying glass out with the full moon in Leo, but you haven't managed to get the very fine details. So now with this energy as we move through March, it will start to ignite Aries energy, and that wood that was soggy, that was just producing smoke, will actually start to catch fire. I know for myself personally, I haven't been able to light the fire recently. It just won't catch. No matter what I chuck at it, the wood seems to be damp and just doesn't want to ignite into a flame. And so I asked, what's the wood to do with? So the wood is our physical bodies, our groundedness, our ability to ground things, manifest things in our lives. And with these huge stellium of planets in Capricorn since January, I'm hearing the phrase, it's put a dampener on things. So a lot of us have taken life very, very seriously recently. There seems to have been no lightness, no literally light being shone upon situations, that all you've felt is a bit maybe gloomy and Um, and there's a song, Smoke Gets in Your Eyes. And so there's a shift in energy, a shift in circumstances coming in now for us in March. So it's starting to rev up. That little spark is going to explode into a huge flame. With the full moon in Virgo coming up on the 9th, this will be looking at how you can mend things in your lives. So mending our bodies, mending our mental state, mending our how we look at things in our lives, how we make the necessary changes and allow things to fall away. So if there are things to be burned away, so it's like putting a laser beam onto things, so seeing the fine detail, looking at things that are dried up, that are shriveled, that are of no consequence to us anymore, but we still keep them. So you may have a box full of stuff, you may have a shed full of stuff, you may have cupboards full of things that you haven't used in donkey's years. They're well past their sell-by date. So metaphorically speaking, what you can now put on the bonfire, what you can set fire to, what you can burn away from your surroundings, from your inner demons, inner workings, allowing that sun to shine upon this sense of new beginnings. So with the Aries energy, I'm not excluding Leo or Sagittarius, but Aries is the first fire sign. And as we get to spring, or even before spring arrives, you start to feel that surge of energy, that surge of excitement, that uprushing feeling, oh goody, it's almost spring, and you see certain little plants showing up. So snowdrops and crocuses and daffodils. And you know there's an awful lot more wants to burst forth. So we talk about the darling buds of May. So whatever buds you have wanting to emerge from you, what you are sending forth, what wants to emerge from you, it's like it's not as far away as you thought it was. So I get the sense of, for an awful lot of the fire signs, their light has been dimmed for quite a while, that you haven't felt an impetus or enthusiasm or a focus. And in general areas in your life, a lot of you may have felt lethargic and not your usual lovely, shiny, sparkly selves, and that is about to change. So as we greet this full moon on the 9th, the moon can only be full with the sun shining directly onto it. So that sunny part of yourselves, the sunshine, which is our personalities, and the moon, which is our emotions, they have to greet each other across the heavens for the moon to actually show up as full, because the moon doesn't have its own light. We can only see it because the sun is shining upon it. So as it's building up to this full moon, you may start to feel the energy stirring within you. So it's like when the sap starts to rise in the trees again and in the bushes and the shrubs again. You feel this stirring within your physical being and an enthusiasm for life. I've recently had some very interesting occurrences. I couldn't open my front door, I couldn't unlock it, and I couldn't lock my back door. And so I called someone to come and fix these things. And both locks, front door and back door, had exploded. That was the term that was used. The locks had exploded. It was impossible to shut them properly. And it wasn't due to the wood swelling or anything like that. It was just that over the years, the usage of the keys in the locks were absolutely worn out. So I had new locks put in the front door and in the back door. And so this said to me that being unable to lock the back door is my past, our past. I couldn't keep the past from influencing me, interfering in my life, thinking about past things, and being unable to unlock the front door, I couldn't let new opportunities in. They were, even the postman one day, he said, shouted through the door, "I've got a parcel for you, Amanda." I said, "I'm sorry, I can't unlock the front door." So he had to come around the back, if you pardon the expression. And so it was a good few weeks where I couldn't unlock the front door. And it had been actually 2.5 years since I couldn't lock the back door. So there's been quite a long period in my life where I felt a bit stuck, sort of living in the past and not embracing opportunities because I was unable to do so. So now I have new keys. I have new locks, I have new keys, and I can lock and unlock both doors, so my past and my future. And then the other incident, we've had so much rain here and so storms and floods and such like, and my back garden was awash, and it washed away some topsoil to reveal a drain, which was a trip hazard. And so, excuse me, that has actually been all dug up, all of my back garden, all completely dug up, all the old concrete flower beds, broken path, old broken bricks and rubble, all been removed, and a brand new concrete backyard, which I can now put out pretty plants and pots and such like, and it's all one level and it's all smooth and it's all bright and shiny. And the one other little, well not little, incident, I had a potting shed which I was unable to use since I've lived here because there was no roof on it, and this week that's been repaired as well. So all of this opening of doors, closing of doors, locks and bolts, and smoothing out of garden and new roof on the potting shed, this is preparing me on lots of different levels for the spring, for new beginnings, for letting new things enter my life, for growing new things. I've got all these seeds ready to plant and pot up with a long-term view to having a harvest in the autumn. So there may be things in your lives which have kept you locked in, locked and bolted, and trip hazards, and not having a roof, being able to do the things that you wanted to do. So that is changing. That's a very big energetic change for all of us, and especially for you lovely fire signs, because the first, as I say, the first fire sign of the year is Aries, and it comes in early on the 19th of March. And I feel that there's a sense of celebration for some of you where you can move beyond the damp wood, because that may also have affected your joints, your mobility, your moods, your sense of being able to move ahead in life. So we'll look now at the Sand Oracle and we'll see what little messages want to come through for you that way. So here we have the little Zen garden, and I've placed a candle in the middle of this one because you are the fire signs, and I just wanted to activate that fire energy for you. So I have here my little mini rake, so it has some prongs and it has a smooth side, and I can also use the handle to doodle with as well. So I'm just going to allow my hand to be guided, and we'll see what shapes emerge. Now some of you may see things that I don't. Things may show up and you say, oh, that looks like a so-and-so. And this happens also in my artwork. So I work in abstract, inspirationally, and after I've completed it, people will say, oh, I can see a this, that and the other in it, which I haven't spotted. So if you'd like to comment on anything and let me know what you see. As I say, because there might be something that I haven't. So for all of the March readings for the various elements, I've done a Sand Oracle. So if you want to look for someone else, just check those out. So, what have we got here? Well, this little bit here feels to me like a corkscrew. So if things have been stuck in your life, like a cork in a bottle, this is your tool. This is your ability now to pull out the stopper. Pull out all the stops. They're saying pull out all the stops. And this, they're showing me a champagne cork as well. So there's a big celebration for some of you, really being able to shake hands, join with others, have a celebration and say, oh, at last, we worked so blinking hard. Waited such a long time for all of this to come together. And now, so that can be the popping of the cork and the lovely champagne bubbles. Okay, they're saying that is like a caterpillar. So some of you may still be in cocoon mode. You may still be swathed in that incredible energy that is transforming you internally. And for some of you, I'm feeling that over the last 18 months or so, you may have withdrawn, you may have shut yourself away, gone into your shell a bit, dimmed your light, wanted to spend time on your own, perhaps even been quite depressed about things, trying to understand why you were feeling like you were feeling. And a lot of this is to do with this huge transformation of energy, our awakening, our ascension, and having no one around you with a frame of reference that you can really discuss things with. But you are about to burst forth. There is this, again, like with the champagne cork, pulling out the stopper. So the caterpillar goes into the cocoon, and then it actually turns to mush. So it's basically unrecognizable until this extraordinary metamorphosis occurs, and it forms another little body and wings and such like. So there is this ta-da moment coming up for you, and it's not very far away. So, as I say, as we're moving into extraordinary fire energy from the soggy old Pisces, water energy, okay, and there might be one or two of you who've got can't remember the name of the condition, but you can't get warm. Your hands and feet are really cold, and you just cannot get warm, and you have layers and layers on where everybody else is roasty hot. You are really, really cold. And metaphorically speaking, there may be someone around you who has not been able to show affection, who has kept their emotions in check. It's possibly yourself has been unable to express yourself clearly. Oh, okay. This shape here is a bit like a fish, and it's swimming downwards. So the symbol for Pisces that we're just coming out of is two fish, one swimming in one direction, one swimming in the other, one pointing up, one pointing down. So the one that's pointing down can be to do with a low mood, feeling gloomy, even depressed. And then that shape changes and I see that as like a manta ray. Now I've swum with them in the waters off Hawaii, and they are like giant black and white angels swimming through the ocean. They look like they're flying through the ocean. And so where things have been very black and white for you and no colour, that is about to change. It's angelic energies coming in to support you, to lift you up out of any gloom and doomy feelings you might have had. All being expressed through this popping of the cork, the emergence from your chrysalis state. There's one or two things in this doodle here. It feels like clouds, but it also feels like cliffs, coastline. Different levels, different layers. Oh, thank you. So they're talking about the Capricorn energy that we've just come through in December, January. And we still have planets sitting in Capricorn, so Saturn and Pluto. Jupiter's in there now. But how that's starting to ease up because they're starting to part company. They're moving away from each other, so it isn't as hard work as it was. So this energy of coast feels like a freedom, a release. So as we've been surrounded by the waters of Pisces, so this coastal picture is to do with our bodies, our physical selves, surrounded by the waters, the emotions of the Pisces energy we are coming out of now. You will soon be able to move more freely. There's a liberation. So your physical body's loosening up. So any stiffness is soothed. And anything to do with rocks or mountains, anything like that, is to do with the Capricorn energy, which is our careers, our the material side of things, where we strive to achieve in our lives. And that is easing up. So here, you probably agree, is like a tree. So there's definitely a blossoming, there's definitely a feeling of colour coming into your lives. So I know that when I see the first blossoms, even before the spring, so like forsythia and winter flowering cherry, that lovely pink blossom, it starts to stir something within me. So I feel that this is a blossoming of many things in your lives, but also it's like a family tree. So there's a feeling here of where some of you have felt unsupported by family, by even ancestral patterning and programming. It's being able to recognize that if you've been carrying those old programs or patterning, how it no longer serves you, because there's quite a negative connotation to it. Okay, and they're talking about you sprouting new leaves, new branches, stretching yourself further than you've ever been before. So if your family tree shows that your family only ever resided in one area or one country or one town, one village, and never set foot outside of that, this is saying that you have an ability to move way beyond their confines, their consciousness, their sense of adventure. Because I feel for a lot of you, there's something's calling you. Something is, now I'm being shown that like a ship. So that's the sails. And this is the prow of the ship here. So winds of change. Zephyrus. Zephyrus is the west wind. And he's blowing you in a completely new direction. So that can be like the seagulls. So you might be going from one coast to another coast, across an ocean. It may just be for a holiday, but for some of you, you might be upping sticks, leaving leaving everything that you've known, leaving your environment, leaving your family, leaving your work. So I see a new coastline. New adventures, new beginnings. And I do feel that for some of you, it's an inner journey as well. So you're really exploring your inner state, your inner self. And for others, there's a feeling of altruism, wanting to help others, maybe taking a job that really helps people on the planet to empower themselves. So something that has been calling you for quite a long time, maybe taking you out of your comfort zone, out of a corporate job, out of a way of being, a way of living, a way of earning your money, into something very, very different, because your soul has been saying, are you really happy doing this? There's something better for you. Okay, I was watching an old Jules Verne movie the other day with James Mason. It's called Journey to the Center of the Earth. And they're talking about the journey to the center of yourself here. So wherever the center of the earth is for you, or center of yourself is for you, something is calling you. And for a lot of you, resistance is futile, as they say in Star Trek. Something is calling you so strongly, and it may upset the apple cart a little bit. So your family or friends, they say, well, why on earth do you want to do that? And some people might try and make you feel guilty. Why are you leaving? Why do you want to go? And you know you can't stay. You cannot stay any longer, because the call is so strong that your life will not be complete or fulfilled unless you go. And they do say in the old good book, many are called, but few choose to actually answer the call. So if you are being called, you have a choice. You have a choice now, whether to answer that call or not. So those are your messages from the sand, and we shall add some other bits to it. So we're going to add some pebbles from the beach. Ooh, okay, you want to show up. Right, now that's a very large hagstone. All of these pebbles are off the local beach, and they're all quite remarkable. They have different energies associated with them, as are the shells. This is where I live as a fishing village, so there are plenty of shells to pick up. There are scallops, crabs, winkles, all sorts. Oh, right. Let's see how we come along with this. So, this here is what we call a hagstone. And hagstones or holy stones, Holey, are stones or pebbles that have been moved with the motion of the ocean, and rubbed by other pebbles and other stones, so that there is a hole all the way through. So this one, as I say, is quite a large pebble. More than likely has come from the cliffs recently rather than just in the ocean. So as I said, within the sand doodle, cliffs, coastline, new horizons, new coastlines, new places to move to. This is also heart-shaped, and with the hole here, for some of you who've had a breakup or a loss or a grief or a sadness on an emotional level, this is being able to see it in a very different way. So it's having a cosmic view, of how you use your heart energy. So opening up your heart center, your higher heart center, to see things in a very different light. So the hagstones, they say when you focus and you look through the hole, you can see other dimensions, parallel universes, other aspects of yourself. So you're being given an opportunity to look at your love life, how you love things in life. So not just love life with a physical other person, but your love of life. So your joie de vivre, your sense of what love actually means to you, and loving yourself first. So that's a particularly powerful, can't call it a pebble, powerful message wanting to come through there. Okay, also it's not just looking through it this way, it's what wants to, or is waiting to meet you the other side. So there is an energy the other side of this stone, this pebble, that is waiting to meet you. And it can be more than one thing. So this little pebble is a directional stone. So we have the more directional stones here. This is pointing downwards. I also see it as an owl. You might not, but I do. I see that as like the owl's eye. Woo-hoo. So the owl is to do with wisdom. He's called the night eagle, because when the owl hunts, he's silent. You can't hear a thing. He manages to fly in such a way that no sound is heard at all. So my sense of this is that your inner wisdom, your intuition, your insights are getting stronger and stronger and more profound. And because it's pointing downwards, this is more to do with your inner relationship with you rather than outer. If it's pointing the other way, I'd say it's more to do with the material world and things outside of yourself. These other two directional stones. This one's sitting up here. I get the feeling with this one, it's like a protection, not an overshadowing, an overlooking, but in a protective way. So with this directional stone, as above, so below. So it's allowing yourself to be guided by your higher self, your higher wisdom. If it was pointed, whoops, side to side, like that, that would be like a marker, turn right, turn left. But because it's this way, it's more to do with your, oh, they're saying soul signature, your soul signature, whatever that might mean to you. So for an awful lot of us who are light workers, or who are just awakening and learning about the ascension energies, your soul signature can be to do with your life purpose, your soul's purpose, why you came into this physical body, into this particular time-space reality, and what it is you came here to do. So there's a huge wake-up call for an awful lot of people. So your physical self, your emotional self, your mental self, your soul self, all being activated. So light activation. So with the energy of Aries, this beautiful fire energy, activating the light within you. So it's never totally gone out, it's always been there, but there's this sudden uprushing ignition, a bit like a rocket taking off. And with the 3 fire signs, Aries, Leo and Sagittarius, these are the 3 stages of the rocket. So as a rocket takes off, it is propelled up out of the Earth's atmosphere, and then the fuel tanks drop away. So then it carries on its journey a little lighter, and then it carries on towards its projected destination. So my sense of this message is, as we move into Aries energy, that's the first stage, that's liftoff, that's takeoff. So it's the cork coming out of the bottle. And then as we move towards the summer, August energy, Leo, the fuel tanks will have dropped away, and you will have a clearer idea of your trajectory. So some of you may get this huge burst of energy in the spring and be go, 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 go. When you hit midsummer, August time, you may feel a little tired. You may feel, because those fuel tanks have dropped away, that was the push, push, push. And so it may take a little bit of, maybe a couple of weeks to feel that momentum and know that you are headed in the right direction. And then by Sagittarius time, as we move towards Christmas, you will be very much clearer, because you've got those other 2 fire signs pushing you, and you will have gathered a momentum. Ooh. So the shell it looks it looks like a koala bear. What do you reckon? So that's its lovely nose, and there's his little eyes. There's an eye, there's an eye, and there's his nose. So the feeling I have about the koala energy is finding that softness within you. So where you might have been really hard on yourselves, where you might have, don't push yourself too hard. And also what the lovely koalas have been through recently in the fires in Australia, how people have found them and rescued them and helped them to recover. So like I said earlier on, with some of you feeling like you want to help others on the planet, and it's not just humans, so you might feel called to want to help animals. So whether that's in a rescue place or whether it's you go out into the bush or the wilds or the forests or even the ocean, to really assist those that are endangered, who really need our help. I think that's so cute. Look at that. Wouldn't think you'd get that from a shell, would you? Beautiful. Dear sweet little koala bear. So this beautiful stone come in there. Ooh. Gosh, there's so many things in that one. Wow. First of all, it looked like a child that's dancing. She's got sort of blue hair. Then I see it as a bird. So this is saying, be as a child. When was the last time you had some fun? When was the last time you went dancing? Or just had to giggle so much that your belly ached? That looks to me there like an animal, a dog, a cat, a big cat. Playfulness. Dog energy is to do with friendship and loyalty. So if your friendships have had disloyalty, if people have fallen away from you, this is bringing in new friends, new loyal friends. It's also your soul tribe, your space family. From your planet of origin. Feeling supported and loved and cherished by those who truly understand you, truly know where you're coming from. This says to me you've been giving from an empty cup. Some of you have given so much of yourselves away that there's nothing left to give, so it needs to be replenished. And while some of you have been hibernating and pulled away and withdrawn, you really do need to recuperate and replenish your energies before you step back out there and give again. And for some of you, okay, this is to do with shining, recognition, reward, even being on a stage. So if some of you have been withdrawn because you've been creating something like writing a book or a script or a play or something that can be presented and shared for the public, don't be in too much of a hurry to get it out there. So if you've been given a deadline, you don't want to rush it so that it isn't completed when you really wish to complete it. So not allowing others to dictate to you when something should be done and completed, doing it in your own time, but not stressing about it. There's those two little marks there. So that is, one's Aries and the next one is Leo. So this is saying by the middle of the year, summertime is better than rushing with it now. Don't give from an empty pot. Your pot must be full to overflowing. Giving from your overflowing, not from an empty pot. So with this beautiful shell, it feels like that's like the butterfly's wing as you emerge from your chrysalis. A butterfly can't fly immediately when it emerges. It has to let its wings dry because they're still wet and sticky. So this is don't fly before you can really open your wings and allow them to feel the sunshine on them, because you might take a little nosedive. So allowing the light within you, the sunshine to shine upon you, allowing your wings to open fully so that when you do take off, it will be exquisite, because that's what you are. You're exquisite beings of light, housed in the physical body. You've moved through a really, really tough time. But don't jump before you can really feel the power in those wings. I was watching a nature program about albatrosses, or is it albatrosses. When they had the baby albatross, it took 9 months for it to mature enough to be able to take off, and every day it stretched its wings and flapped its wings and got the feeling of the air, but not until it was absolutely certain, absolutely ready, did it take off. So those are your pebbles and shells, and now we're going to add the objects. So here we have the tray with some objects, which I'm going to choose maybe half a dozen or so. Didn't want to show up for the fire signs. So first we have a piece of citrine. Ooh. We have a button. goodies in here. Ooh, the feather. Oops. Here we are. There's a feather. Ooh, got the little Russian doll. A couple more. Ooh. Ooh. Diamond. Whoops. A little diamond. Where's it gone? There. A couple more. Ooh. Oh, yet another hagstone. So I think we'll choose just maybe one more object. Ah, ooh. So it's a little dropper. Okay, let's see what these have to tell you. So, well, the citrine, the crystal of citrine, is to do with abundance and prosperity, and also the energy of it is like the sunshine, it's light. So you see as it catches the light, there's like a flame within it. So your abundance and your prosperity is being ignited and lit up. And it's not just to do with money. It's also, okay, I'm getting about the deep inner wisdom being ignited. So that really, and it's like there's a hole inside the stone, a bit like the hagstone. So on lots of different levels, parallel universes, different timelines, energies wanting to come through and meet you. So the time is right. It's ripe. It's been working behind the scenes for a very long time, and it's only when the mixture is absolutely right that it can coalesce and come together and bring something brand new to you. So it's like with the caterpillar going into the cocoon, into the chrysalis, it has to wait the appropriate time for it to emerge as the butterfly and be able to take off in a new direction. So it's like with the feather, they say there are 40,000 feathers on a thrush. So one isn't sufficient to get the bird flying. It has to be quite a few. So each of those individual feathers has to grow and merge together with the others to bring it to bring you to flight. The button is a new fastening. So when something is fastened, it is things brought together, and the word fast, so something quickening, there's an acceleration of energy, a feeling of, now I can button this up, now I can bring these two things together, now I can feel like there is a seal of approval, as above, so below, higher self, physical self, things merging together. And there we have the diamond. So this precious gem, and we know how long it takes to form a diamond in the earth, so it's initially a tree, and then it becomes coal, and then it gets compressed over maybe thousands of years until it becomes this precious shiny object. And again, this is to do with facets, the facets in your life, the energies within a, oops, yeah. Catching the light. So as you allow your light to shine in your life, for those things to be ignited that have been just like a little pilot light or put on the back burner, this is time for those diamonds to emerge from within you, where they've been working behind the scenes, working on a very deep level. And that diamond white light is to do with the Sandalphon, the Archangel Sandalphon, who is the angel of the earth. And you can call upon him to bring up the diamond white light grid. And work with that energy to really help you to focus, to help to heal the planet as well, for those of you who, as I say, feel drawn to use those altruistic energies of helping others on the planet. So here with the little Russian doll, little smiley face, she denotes layers of energy. So all of your bodies, your aura, your etheric energies, your mental body, physical body, emotional body, spiritual body, all of these things coming together to be encased harmoniously. So where they might have been out of sync for a little while, now they're all coming into harmony, into balance, equilibrium. And then the little dropper, this is to do with alchemy, I feel. This sense of knowing what amounts of energy to use in any given situation. So it has a little level marker. So knowing how much to take in and how much to expend. So allowing that magic within you, that ability to transform yourself from one way of being into another, and knowing how to not overdo it or underdo it. So many things here about bringing your life into a state of harmony, of balance, of equilibrium, where it's been totally out of whack for a while. And here we have some letters of the alphabet and maybe a few numbers. So these letters may be significant to you as the initials of people you have yet to meet. So we have an R, an N, and an S. And this, as it's landed sideways, is the symbol of infinity, but also it is the 8. So 8 is to do with abundance. It's also the 8th month, so that would bring us into Leo energy. So as I said earlier on, there are things taking off for you in Aries season, and by the middle of the year into August, you will start to see a great many things starting to materialize in your life. So coming out of a period of damp wood, just a tiny little spark and lots of smoke, you're moving through now into a much more vibrant, energetic way of being. Pace yourself, take your time. You don't want to burn yourselves out. Use the tools that you have and call upon your helpers, your angels, your guardians, your guides, Mother Earth herself, and the sunshine. Tap into that solar energy. Because that would really help you to start retrieving those things that you put away and to burn off those things that you no longer need. So I do hope you've enjoyed this oracle. I'd love to hear your comments. And please like, share and subscribe, because that really helps the YouTube algorithm to share this video so that it reaches those who will really benefit from my messages. So thank you, lovely fire signs. Until next time, lots of love. Bye.